Nobel Gundam, Berserker mode. Hey again everybody, it's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs from YouTube and gundam.tk. The high-grade Future Century Nobel Gundam Berserker mode is all built up. All that's left is empty plates, so it's time to take a look at the parts before putting this mobile fighter all together. Here are the main body parts when it's all put together, and can you guess which one dominates the size category? Armaments only consist of 2 beam swords. Usable extra parts include an attachment there for the action base, 3 extra manipulators including the V peace sign, and a pair of hands there for the God Gundam to swap in and out if he wants to carry her. Although I wonder if you'd want to do that when she's Berserk. For unusable extra parts, you're going to be getting this part which attaches the beam ribbon to it, so again, if they're giving you the part, it seems like a little bit of a shame that they don't give you the actual ribbon itself. You do have a different head part here when you're putting on the back of the head to attach the hair on. So you're going to get the old part from the regular Nobel, and on the back of the sailor uniform you're going to get a new set of thrusters, so this part will be unused. For these parts I often used a brown lining marker which works really well on red, and 2 real touch markers, the red and the pink, both to catch up discolorations and also to add a little bit of lining. Starting with the legs, especially the left one here, because it's got this ribbon around the thigh, and this is an actual sticker, but because it's on a raised section here, if you wanted to paint that, you'd have no problems doing that. For the hips up here, they're going to pivot around like this, and up and down like that, and you'll notice that this part has to be forward. For the knee bend, you're going to get a 90-degree bend, but for the leg down here, I just put it together without too much lining. Tried a little bit of brown down there, don't think it looks that great, and this is red real touch on the back, mostly hidden. But on the ankles, you're going to have to be careful because if you bend them too much, they're just going to pop right out of that socket there. But this part does move a little bit, so you will be getting some movement, though again, you've just got to be careful. For the waist, you'll notice a good color differentiation. This should be blue, but instead it's come out as quite a bit of purple. And I put on mostly just red there, real touch for the lining. Good thing here on the front, you don't have to put a seal on there for that bubblegum pink in there. That's actually 2 separate pieces. The waist section there, and yes, you've got the thrusters that look nothing like a ribbon. But in terms of the actual mechanics, the skirts are going to open up like that, but this part is actually going to rotate this way compared to a regular Gundam, especially from the 00 line, where they will pivot, bringing the hips forward and back. These ones allow it to go up and down. To the chest section, with again a little bit of real touch lining there, you do get your choice of 2 different green stickers that if you want to put this on, this sort of covers up more of the jewel, but you can also put one just there on the inside. But if you want to paint that, I'm sure that would look the best. You've got to be very careful when you're putting on the seals here because these are small and they are a little bit pink, so they actually match the color of this plastic, which isn't white. Again, you've got a raised part here similar to the thigh, so you can put that ribbon around there. But where this kit is different from the regular Nobel Gundam is on the back. Instead of putting on this part here, you'll notice that you can only put on one or the other. You don't have stickers for both. You can put in the thrusters, and the thrusters are going to move, so that is part of this being Berserk. Simple and slim arms which suit the Nobel Gundam, and you're just going to put these shoulders together. I've got a little bit of red real touch there. This yellow piece on the side, you can fill it in with some black ink or lining marker. I just went with red. I don't know if that was the right choice. But in terms of mobility, you can move that around there. The arm is going to bend over 90. Nothing fancy here. The manipulators, you get 2 regular holding ones, the V sign, and these 2 open ones, which are sort of notable because they have the peg bent back, which can just make them look a little bit feminine in some of the poses. For the beam swords, you'll notice that it has the same handle, so if you wanted to put the ribbon in there, you'd be able to, which I thought was actually very simple yet ingenious on the regular Nobel. But the fact that we've got at least these extra weapons, and they are different, again, is something that may make this worth a purchase, in addition to the regular one, because at least you're getting something a little different. Here are the beam sword holding manipulators and the peace sign. It's not that I'm not a fan of action base too, but I just think sometimes these bases are a little bit more solid, and I like the fact that you get a lot more options with them, so it's good to see whenever they throw them in with a high-grade kit. First of all, you're going to get 2 different attachment arms, so you can put it here or here, slide it forward to lock it in. If you want to do Superman or forward-leaning poses, you can also do these ones for just the straight up and down regular vertical poses, and you have a lengthener, so you can put that on either and make whatever pose you want just that much taller. And as they show on the box, you can have the Nobel Gundam attached to one and the God Gundam attached to the other as they actually fight, or, like I saw in the instruction manual, why not put 2 Nobel Gundams on there, one Berserker, one not. But let's not kid ourselves here. It is the head of the Nobel Gundam outside of those thrusters on the back. I don't think anybody's going to buy a kit for that. This is why you're buying it. The pink shows up really well here for the goatee, which is sort of worrying on a female-styled Gundam. Up here it also matches on the top. I was always impressed with the way that they actually gave you the hair up above and down below, in addition to the V-fin, so you don't have to do any painting there. I just put in some poor black lining there. You're going to have a green sticker up there, which matches the eyes. But it's the hair that's the real standout. Just for an idea, here it is next to the first grade Exia, so you get an idea of just how long this is and how far back it's going to sit and knock it over. It's pretty cool that we can actually talk about mobility when we're talking about the hair, but first of all, I'm impressed that we've got the two layers. So you've got the top part, and then there's two strands down below, and these are separately adjustable, so you could bring them up or down, which just adds to the effect that it's just got a little bit more 3D and isn't just rolling off the back like a piece of paper. The cool gimmick of this whole thing is, though, the way that it actually attaches to the head. Like I said, these parts here are different from the regular Nobel Gundam, but this part is going to clamp on very well down below, and then these parts are going to go on and support these side parts here that would otherwise perhaps fall up and down. But because there are two different settings here, we can actually pinch these in different places and adjust how high the hair sits compared to the back of the head. If you can make this out here, what I've done is I've taken off this middle strand here, and you don't actually attach it to the peg anymore. You just use that part in the front to plug it into the back of the head. And when you do that, I've brought up this left side here and plugged it in so that this part is actually plugged in. Now this part isn't, and when you see it from the side, you'll just get an idea of how much more raised this is in the upper position compared to this when it's down in just regular position. And here it is when it's all the way up. It's really easy to lose track of how this is going to work when you actually put it on, because the angle of the head, of course, is going to affect it more than the angle of the hair, but you can really just see how much this got brought up, and the fact that they put a gimmick like that is taking something cool like the Berserker hair, its most noticeable feature, and just doing something with it, for which I have to give Bandai full props. So that'll wrap up my look at the parts of the Nobel Gundam. Not too different from the regular mode, but just the fact that you get the thrusters and you get the beam swords, and especially, as I was saying, the fact that this can do so many different things just makes, for me, this is worth the extra purchase by itself. The colors are a little bit underwhelming, but if you were happy with the way the first Nobel Gundam's parts worked out, I think you'll be pretty happy with this. In general, though, I have to say that for a 1500 yen Gundam, this one comes across as just having very few parts, and a lot of that, of course, a lot of that plastic is all from the D-plate for the hair. But what do you think? How are the parts? Do they impress you? Are they different enough? But anyway, at the end of the day, parts are never going to sit on display like this. So stay tuned when I put all these put together, make the mobile fighter, and then you can see how cool this looks when it's fully angry with its hair extended. Anyway, everybody, Robert184, thanks for watching. See you next time. Lots more to come. See you again. If only some filmmaker had some character in some movie that had this on their t-shirt. That would be so cool.